Real quick before we hop in, this video is mostly information, but for a reason. Everything you're about to learn is what lets you turn any routine into the most personalized, optimized routine for you yourself. Today I'm breaking down everything you need to know how to build a completely custom routine from scratch, step by step, and I cover everything. So make sure you stick around to the end because that's how you actually maximize this routine for yourself. Let's hop right into it. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is go into the edit section. Now, right here, we're testing out how long you can actually do a drill without losing focus in that drill. So for example, we're gonna choose this drill and we're gonna continuously do it until the point where we feel like we're going on autopilot. Autopilot means you're doing the edits without even thinking about them. Most people, this will be between 30 seconds to 3 minutes, and depending on how brain rotted your brain is, yeah. So remember, lock in and try and stay as focused as possible and go as many times as you can without going on autopilot. Autopilot is the main thing that stops people from progressing it fast. So yeah, just lock in and do it as many times as you can. All right, so as you guys can see, I did it about 61 times before I was starting to autopilot. And once again, you can do this with any of these drills. You just constantly do them until you feel like you cannot do it anymore. And once again, if you guys do need a timer, you have a timer right here you can apply. So it'll show you how long you can actually lock in. So this is one of the main drills that I recommend doing for this and testing it out. Another one is in the comp section, and it is the edit practice. This one is really good for doing this because it keeps you engaged the whole time. And once you start autopiloting, you'll usually mess up your edits. So this is another good one to do. And then once again, another great one to do is any of the aim things, specifically like something like this that puts you into these fast situations. And once again, do each of these until the point you cannot, basically, you're not thinking about doing anything, because autopiloting is what ruins it. Once you figure out the time that it takes for you to basically lock in, you're gonna set a program for yourself using these things and basically time them out. So for example, if your time is 1 minute and 30 seconds, what you're gonna wanna do is either start, I would personally recommend starting with free building. And the creative lag is still horrible. Epic needs to fix it, but basically, you're just gonna free build for about 1.5 minutes because you'll be locked in for that whole 1.5 minutes. And so you're gonna just free build for that 1.5 minutes. And once that 1.5 minutes is up, then you are gonna take a 1 minute like kind of break and just chill. You can go on autopilot for that 1 minute. I recommend not, because you want to enter into flow state, and you can only do that by actually focusing on the game. So once again, after you've done free building for about 1.5 minutes, you're gonna go in here and you're either gonna go to the aim or edit section first, either one. Now I recommend edit section, and once again, you would do this again and you do it for 1.5 minutes, and you can do this for reps. So you do it for 1.5 minutes like this, and then you take a 1 minute break, and then you do another 1.5 minutes on it. And then you can do 2 to 3 sets of multiple reps. It's basically just muscle. If you were to work out like in the gym, you usually do 2 to 4 sets depending on the repetition you want. And since you're doing higher reps, you don't need necessarily more sets or lower sets. So 3 is a good range. Once again, you do it for 1:30 on and you do it for 1 minute off, depending on what your time limit is. If you're 3 minutes on, then you'll want to have 2 minutes off. And once again, it goes the same for this. You just edit all the way up. And you just keep doing this till your 1.5 minutes is up, because that is the most amount of time you'll be focused. Now, once you're done with your editing section, then you're gonna come to your aim, and you're gonna do 3 drills in your aim regardless of how you're feeling. 3 regardless. And once again, for aim, I recommend doing a close range, a mid range, and a long range. And for each one, do it for 1:30 and then come back here and just chill for a minute, and then go into the next one and do it for 1:30. What I recommend is shotgun dodge. This is one of my favorite ones. Gives you hell XP. It helps you dodge stuff while shooting the balls. Basically helps with your movement and your aim at the same time. And this is really good for close range shotgun flicks and stuff like that, which you will use a lot in your fighting. And once again, 1.5 minutes on, and then 1.5 minutes off, or 1 minute off, depending on, once again, what your time is. So once I do that, then I'll just come back here and I'll just chill for about 1 minute, stretch my hands, just give my brain a little bit of a break, can listen to some music, something like that. And then we're gonna go into the next one. Now the next one needs to be a medium range one. So you can do overhead tracking and bounce tracking. Either of those are good. And you can do it scoped in or not. And once again, you're going to want to do this for however long your time is that you can be focused for the longest. Once again, after I do it for a minute and a half, we come back and we just chill for another minute. Just listen to some music, just chill. And then after that minute of a rest, then you're going to go into axis tracking or another long range one. And once again, do this for a minute. And then once again, and after another minute and a half, you come back. And now this is where things are going to get interesting. Now that you've been practicing for about 10 to 15 minutes, your actual focus actually goes down from what it was at the start. At the start, you're usually the most focused, and after doing a bunch of drills, you usually lose focus. So here, I recommend taking your actual focus time down a notch. We're in the piece control section. I recommend once again doing 3 different piece control things out of the 20 that we have. And once again, we have timer, and you can speed yourself up or slow yourself down if you need. And then once again, I recommend only doing these ones for a minute to a minute and a half. If you were a minute and a half for all the other drills, do these ones for only a minute. If you were 3 minutes for all the drills at the start, do 2 minutes for these drills. So basically just cut it in half, or cut, like, if the shorter it is, so if you're at a minute and a half for most of the drills, just cut off 30 seconds. If you're at 2 minutes, I would cut it to either 30 seconds to 45 seconds. And if you're at 3 minutes, I would cut it down to a minute and 15 seconds. And then once again, you just do the drills, and you just focus on here. It's not about speed. Once again, it's focusing on the things you practice. So if you practice your aim and just your editing, you're just going to focus on your aim and editing and make sure you get everything around him. Remember, piece control is not about speed right here. It is about actually learning the movements and utilizing them correctly. And once again, after you do this one for about a minute, you're going to come back, chill for 30 seconds, and then you're going to go into another one. And you're going to just do the same thing you did for the first one. And after you're done doing this one for another minute, you're going to come back, wait for another 30 seconds to a minute, and then you'll go into the last one. Once again, after you do this one for a minute, you're going to come back. You're just going to chill for a minute. Then if you want to add extra in, you can come over to this section and just work on some of the basic things that you need in your actual matches. Wall replace, Martaz peak, reaction time, phasing practice. These are just add-ons if you guys want to practice them. I personally like doing the edit practice the most and the wall replace, just so I get my timing down, and reaction time. Now, after you do all of that, the next thing we're going to do is go back to the free build section. And you're actually going to do the free building for about another minute and a half. And once again, depending on how long you actually, like, your actual focus time is, this routine should only take you 30 minutes at max. And then we can go into the other stuff. So I just free builded for about another minute and a half. And so what we're going to do is we're going to leave, and then we are going to take a 3 to 5 minute break before we hop into any other creative maps. And once again, after you take a 3 to 5 minute break from the actual game, like you go do something, go grab a drink, go to use the restroom, whatnot, just get your mind like kind of like back so you're not burnt out when you go into actual creative maps. Now what we're going to do is we're either going to go into 1v1s, zone wars, Martaz turtle wars, or realistic PGs, or realistic zone wars and stuff like that. Basically, you want something that takes what you just learned in the game and it implements it into like realistic scenarios. So I'm going to queue into speed 1v1 realistics. This is really good for quick fights and getting them out the way. And basically what you're going to do is, once again, just implement what you learned in creative and those static drills and try and apply it into the game-like scenarios. Now for this, once again, you're not focusing on winning. I know a lot of you guys love winning, but the most important thing is transferring those skills over. It will in turn lead to more winning, so just be locked in. Remember, we practice on our piece control, so we're going to try and work on our piece control in these fights. See right there, I used my piece control that I used in my actual map to win the fight. Now, after you finish your 1 to 2 realistic creative maps, you're going to want to either hop into reload or ranked, depending on what you want to focus on the most. If you want more fights, you should go into reload. If you want to learn basically everything else, play ranked BR. And only play these things for 1 to 2 hours max. And remember to take a 3 to 5 minute break between creative and ranked, and then another 3 to 5 minute break every hour while playing. After you're done playing for the day, you're going to spend 10 minutes VOD reviewing your ranked games, and you're going to find your 3 biggest mistakes and write them down. So when you log on the next day, you can focus on fixing those mistakes the entire session. Then you can just repeat this process every day. Even if you only do this for 3 days, you will see significant improvement instead of just following some random routine. Anyways, if you guys enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and comment down below what your biggest mistakes are. Also, use code FLOWN in the Fortnite item shop, join my Discord server for free coaching and a chance to 1v1 me. Make sure to play my mechanics map to maximize the amount of progress you can unlock in the game. Thank you guys for taking time out of your day to watch my video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you all. Peace, guys.